Northampton Board of Health is cracking down on synthetic drugs in the city. Northampton officials voting unanimously to create regulations on the sale of these types of both synthetic cannabinoids and kratom. They pose serious public health concerns, including potential negative physical and mental health effects, and in severe cases, death. Kratom is not currently regulated at the state or federal level. However, last month, the proposal to classify it as a Schedule I drug was made. A public hearing to discuss potential regulations will be held next Thursday evening, the 21st at 5:30 on Zoom. A link to that meeting can be found on our website, westernmassnews.com.